My team and I were developing an innovative platform for a startup. Our CEO, Richard, presented it to management. At the investor presentation, he said, "I developed a revolutionary concept. The word I, not we, not team. I." The investors gave $50 million. Richard received a $200,000 bonus. My name. Let's call me Alex, and I'm 31 years old. I live in San Francisco, California. I work as a senior developer at a tech startup we'll call TechVision Incorporated. This is the story of how our boss stole our project and how we got our just desserts. Our team and project. I worked at TechVision for 3 years. The startup developed B2B software for logistics companies. Our team is 5 people. Me and Alex, a senior developer. Let's call her Maria, a data scientist. Let's call him Jake, a UX/UI designer. Let's call her Sarah, a junior developer. Let's call him Tom, a DevOps engineer. Our CEO was a man we'll call Richard, 45 years old, an MBA, 10 years in the industry. A good manager, I thought, until now. 8 months ago, the company's CEO, let's call him David, set a task. We need a killer feature, something that will differentiate us in the market. We have 3 months until our investor meeting. Think. Our team gathered for a brainstorming session. Maria proposed an idea, using AI to predict supply chain delays based on historical data, weather, traffic, and geopolitics. This could save companies millions, she said. They'll know about problems weeks before they happen. We were all excited. Jake started prototyping the interface. Sarah and I were developing the architecture. Maria was building machine learning models. Tom was setting up the infrastructure. Richard was in the loop. We showed him our progress every week. Great, guys. Keep going. I'll keep the CEO updated. 3 months turned into 6. We worked 60 to 70 hours a week. Weekends at the office, late-night calls, missed birthdays, anniversaries, family dinners. My girlfriend, let's call her Emily, said, "You live in the office. I never see you." "Just a little more," I promised. "This is a big project. When we're done, everything will change." We created the PredictChain platform, a system for predicting logistics failures with 87% accuracy. Revolutionary for the industry. Investor presentation, 6 months of work. The platform is ready. CEO David scheduled a presentation to potential investors for the following week. "Richard, you present the project," he said. Richard nodded. "Of course. Guys, prepare the presentation. I need slides, a demo, all the data." We worked all week. We created a 50-slide presentation, recorded a demo video, prepared all the metrics. The day before the presentation, Richard said, "Great job, team. I'll present everything tomorrow. You don't have to come to the meeting. It's for C-level and investors." We were disappointed, but we understood. Meetings like this aren't for developers. "Just mention us," Maria requested. "Tell them it's a team effort." "Of course, we will," Richard promised. The next day, we were sitting in the office waiting for news. Richard returned 3 hours later, beaming. "It went great. The investors are thrilled. They're giving us $50 million. We applauded. We hugged. It was our triumph. "Richard, what did they say about the platform?" I asked. "They said it's a breakthrough. They want to implement it immediately." "And about the team? Did he mention us?" A slight pause. "Of course. He said I have a great team." There was something odd in his tone, but I didn't pay attention. Presentation video. A week later, the company published a video of the presentation on its corporate YouTube channel. Successful investor meeting, $50 million round. I opened the video with excitement. I wanted to see Richard present our project. The video started. Richard was on stage. Our slides were behind him. He began speaking. 3 years ago, I started thinking about the problems of the logistics industry. I realized that predictability is key, and I developed a concept. I started thinking. I understood. I developed it. Not we, not the team. Me. I kept watching. Maybe he'd mention the team next? And after a year of developing my idea, I created PredictChain. My idea. I created it. 20 minutes into the presentation, the word team wasn't mentioned once. He spoke as if he'd been up all night writing the code himself, as if he'd built the machine learning models himself, as if he'd designed the UI himself. At the end, one of the investors asked, "That's impressive, Richard. How many people worked on this?" My pulse quickened. Now he's going to tell the truth. "I had a small team helping with the technical implementation," Richard replied. "But the concept, the architecture, all the key stuff, that was my work. A small team helped. Helped. It was like we were interns copying and pasting." I closed the video. My hands were shaking with anger. $200,000 bonus. The following week, the company announced bonuses. Richard got $200,000 for developing a revolutionary platform and attracting investment. $200,000 for our 6 months of work. Us? Standard annual bonuses are $5,000 each. $5,000. For 6 months of work, 70 hours a week. Maria came to me. "Have you seen the video?" I saw it. "He never mentioned us once. He took it all for himself." "I know." "And he got 200,000, Jake added, approaching. "This is crazy." Sarah was crying in the corner of the office. "I haven't seen my family for 6 months. I missed my mom's birthday. For this project." And he didn't even mention my name. Tom was silent, but I could see his fists clenching. "What are we going to do?" Maria asked. "I don't know," I replied. "But it's wrong. It's stealing." I haven't slept for 3 nights. I'm replaying the video in my head. I designed it. My idea. I created it. 6 months of our lives, our ideas, our code, our models, and he got $200,000 and all the glory for it. Emily says, "Complain to the CEO, tell the truth." But I'm afraid. Richard is the director. He has connections, the trust of management. If I go against him, I could be fired. The team is in the same state, angry, betrayed, but afraid. What should I do? Keep quiet and swallow it? Or fight for justice, risking my career? I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know what we decide. Update 1. A week later, we've collected evidence. A week has passed since we saw the video. The whole team gathered at a bar one evening, without Richard. "We can't just remain silent," said Maria. "This is intellectual property theft." "But what can we do?" asked Sarah. "He's the director. He has power." "We have evidence," I said. I opened my laptop. I showed it. 1. Git commits. The entire development history. Every line of code is signed by the author and date. Richard didn't contribute a single line. 2. Emails. Team correspondence. Maria proposed the idea in an email 8 months ago. All discussions and architectural decisions are documented. 3. Slack conversations. Thousands of messages, work, discussions, bug fixes. Richard was only involved in administrative matters. 4. Meeting notes. We recorded weekly calls. At each call, the team reports on progress. Richard just listens and says, "Okay." "We have ironclad evidence," Tom said. "He can't deny it." "What do we do with it?" Jake asked. "Let's go to the CEO," Maria suggested. "Show everything. Demand justice." "What if the CEO is on Richard's side?" Sarah worried. "They're friends." "Then let's move on," I said. "To the board of directors, to the investors if necessary. The truth must come out." We voted, unanimously, go to the CEO. We scheduled a meeting for the next day. I can't eat. My stomach is clenched. Tomorrow we're going to the CEO. This could end in 2 ways. Justice will prevail. We'll all be fired. Emily supports. "You're doing the right thing. We can't let people like that win." But I'm scared. It's my career, my salary, my bills. If I get fired, what next? Richard definitely won't give me a recommendation. But if I keep quiet, will I be able to look myself in the mirror? Are we doing the right thing? Is it worth risking my career for the sake of justice? I'll write tomorrow about what happened at the meeting with the CEO. Update 2. A month later, meeting with the CEO and the aftermath. A month has passed since that night at the bar. I'll tell you what happened at the meeting with the CEO. 5 of us showed up. David, the CEO, was surprised. Something happened? I started. David, we need to talk about the investor presentation, about PredictChain. Richard's work was great, right? We raised $50 million. The problem is, it wasn't Richard's work, said Maria. Silence. What do you mean? We showed everything. Git commits, emails, Slack, meeting notes. They proved that. The idea was Maria's. The architecture was designed by me and Sarah. The ML models were created by Maria the U. I was designed by Jake. The infrastructure was designed by Tom. Richard didn't write a single line of code, didn't contribute a single idea. David stared at the screen. His face grew increasingly serious. And at the presentation, I added, Richard told the investors that it was his idea, his development. He appropriated our work. David leaned back in his chair. These are serious accusations. We have evidence, Maria pointed at the screen. I'll talk to Richard. I'll look into the situation. David, I said firmly, Richard received $200,000 for our work. We want this fixed. I understand. Give me a week. We left. We didn't know what to expect. 3 days later, Richard was fired. The official reason: violation of corporate ethics and misappropriation of teamwork. The $200,000 bonus was forfeited. He was required to return the money. To us, each team member received a $30,000 bonus as compensation and recognition for their contributions. I was promoted to acting department director in Richard's place. The company rewrote the press release, correctly attributing the project's authorship. A victory? Sort of. But Richard didn't go quietly. A month has passed since Richard's dismissal. We won. Justice has prevailed. But there are consequences. Richard wrote an angry post on LinkedIn. I was unfairly fired from TechVision after my team framed me. Be careful of the haters. Hundreds of comments. Many supported him without knowing the truth. Our reputation in the industry has been damaged. Some people consider us the ones who set up the boss. Plus, I'm now acting CEO, a huge responsibility, even more work. Emily says, you got justice, but the price was high. Was it worth it? I'll keep you posted. I'll write if there's any news. Update 3. 3 months later, Richard files a lawsuit. 3 months have passed since Richard was fired. He's sued the company, a $5 million lawsuit for wrongful termination and damage to reputation. His argument: I was the project manager. I was directing the team. It was my idea to use AI. The team was simply following my instructions. Lies, total lies. But he has a good lawyer. The company hired its own lawyers. We, the team, were witnesses. The trial has begun. Richard presented his evidence. He was the project director, true. He was paid more than the team, true, but irrelevant. He attended meetings, true, but didn't contribute ideas. We presented ours. Git commits with every line of code, emails with Maria's original idea, Slack with architectural discussions, meeting notes where Richard merely nodded, testimony from all 5 that Richard made no technical contribution. The judge reviewed the materials for 2 weeks. Verdict: the lawsuit is dismissed in its entirety. The court ruled that the evidence clearly showed the team's authorship, not Richard's. Richard must pay the company's legal costs. $50,000. He lost. Again. 3 months of legal stress. We won again. But it was exhausting. Interrogations, documents, lawyers, sleepless nights before court hearings. I lost 10 pounds. Maria started seeing a therapist for stress. But we proved the truth. For the second time. Emily asks, when will this end? When will you be able to just work and live? Soon, I hope, I answer. But inside, I'm not so sure. Richard is angry, vengeful. Update 4. 6 months later, Richard tried to poison clients. 6 months have passed since we uncovered the theft of the project. Richard wasn't satisfied after losing the lawsuit. He founded his own company, let's call it Predict, and started copying PredictChain. He tried to replicate our platform. He hired cheap developers. He made a poor copy. Then he started writing to our clients. I am the original creator of logistics prediction technology. TechVision stole my idea. Come to me, I'll give you the real thing. The audacity is incredible. 3 clients contacted us, asking what was going on. We showed them. Court decision, evidence of authorship, public retraction. The client stayed with us, but we also sued Richard again for violating the NDA and defamation. Second trial. This time, it was faster. The evidence was clear. Verdict. Richard violated the NDA. Richard spread false information. Richard must cease using any technology related to PredictChain. Richard must pay the company $200,000 in compensation. A restraining order prevents him from contacting our clients. His company, Predict, closed a month later. Richard is broke. His reputation is ruined. His career in tech is over. 6 months of fighting, 2 trials, endless stress. But we won, completely. Richard is no longer a threat. His company is dead. His reputation in the industry is zero. We proved that idea theft doesn't work, that justice is real. But at what cost? I barely saw Emily for 6 months. Work, court cases, stress. Our relationships are strained. The team's health has suffered. Maria has panic attacks. Sarah has insomnia. We're right. We won. But the price was high. Update 5. A year later, where we are now. A year has passed since we saw the presentation video. A year of struggle. 2 court cases. Endless stress. But justice has prevailed. Richard. He's broke. His company is closed. His reputation is ruined. He doesn't work in tech. Last I heard, he works in sales at some small business. The $200,000 he owes the company is being paid in installments. It will take years. Our team, me, promoted to permanent department director. Salary increased from $130,000 to $180,000. Managing a team of 15. Maria became the company's chief data scientist, presents at conferences, talking about PredictChain. Jake headed the design team, works on new products. Sarah promoted to senior developer, confident, strong, no longer cries in the corner of the office. Tom heads DevOps, scaled our infrastructure to thousands of clients. Company, PredictChain has become our flagship product, generates $20 million in revenue annually. We have 50 clients, from small startups to Fortune 500 companies. Investors are happy. The company is valued at $300 million. CEO David publicly acknowledged us at a conference. PredictChain is the result of the brilliant work of our team. Alex, Maria, Jake, Sarah, Tom, you are the heroes of this story. Fairness. Emily and I, the relationship survived. Barely, but it survived. I took a month off. We went to Europe. I turned off my phone. I forgot about work. We reconnected. We remembered why we fell in love. I recently proposed to her. She said yes. Lesson. A year ago, I was afraid to go against my boss. I was afraid of losing my job. But if we had kept quiet, Richard would have continued stealing ideas. He would have continued receiving bonuses for other people's work. Standing for justice was hard, but right. Don't let anyone steal your work. Collect evidence. Fight. Justice is possible. P.S. For those who say, just quit and forget it, it's easy to advise. But this is our work, our ideas, our sleepless nights. Why should we leave while the thief stays? P.S. For those who work in tech, document everything. Git commits, emails, Slack. If someone tries to steal your project, you'll have proof. PPPS. Justice is possible, but it requires a fight. Be prepared to fight. Thank you to everyone who read this far. Protect your work. Don't let the thieves win.